Greetings and konnichiwa, and welcome to the Onyx Tavern. I'm your host, Rick the Barkeep, bringing you podcast 116 here at the Tavern, presented by Hirotaku.com. Well, patrons of the Tavern, I have a wonderful surprise for you guys today. And no, it is not my response to Linkara's History of Power Rangers on RPM. That will be coming later. No, I got something even better for you guys. I have an exclusive interview with Miss Sabrina Lu, otherwise known as the American Scorpina. Yes, Miss Lu was Scorpina / the character Sabrina in the episode Goldar's Vice Versa in the second season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. We got an American actress to play the role of Scorpina, but unfortunately she was only in the one episode, and for years there's really been conjecture and speculation and just a lot of weird things as to why she never actually came back to reprise the role of Scorpina. And of course, I'm not just going to let Wikipedia articles dictate, the information we have here at the Tavern. So I sought out Miss Lu. She consented to an interview, and now I'm going to present to you in full that interview with Miss Lu on her time on the Power Rangers and the specific reason why she did not return to the series. So everybody enjoy. And now, patrons of the Tavern, I would like to welcome a very special guest on the show for the very first time, Miss Sabrina Lu, or as you may know her, the American Scorpina. Miss Lu, how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing very, very good, and I'm just happy that you were able to join us and really just kind of talk about your experience on Power Rangers and answers to some questions that just seem to elude us in the Power Ranger community.
Oh yeah, glad to do it.
All right, well, thank you. First, Ms. Lu, just to get an idea of where we are, let's go back to 1993, obviously before you got on the show and Power Rangers first premiered. What was your initial thought of the series at the time? What did you think of it, or did you not really think about it at all?
Well, I had definitely heard of it. I'll be honest, I hadn't watched too much until I knew that I was going to be auditioning, and then I watched a couple episodes just to get a good feel for it, and I thought it was a lot of fun and had a lot of good energy and youthful kind of good guys versus bad guys kind of stuff. So I definitely had a positive feeling for it, but of course, not being able to foretell the future, I had no idea that it would still be such a phenomenon and everything. So that's kind of exciting just to have been part of something, from so long ago that people still are talking about. And, since they're doing the news versions of the series and everything. So, and all the conventions and things like that. So it's fun.
Good. Now, of course, and correct me if the information's wrong here, but according to your IMDb page, this was your first professional acting on television. Is that true?
That is a valid question. That probably was. It was all happening all around the same time. I did Young and the Restless and Family Matters, things like that. So I don't remember exactly the order that everything came in, but yeah, it was probably up there near the beginning, certainly.
Okay, and the reason I asked this question is that for the show at the time, which was still in its second season, a worldwide phenomenon, whatever you'd like to go ahead and call it, I just think it's kind of amazing that your first acting gig, as it were, was on this amazing show. And I'm really curious about how you got there. Can you walk us through how you auditioned for it, how you found out about the role, all that good stuff?
Oh, sure. Well, I think that, whenever there's a breakdown which is just basically a description of the roles available for any kind of TV, film, commercial, that sort of thing, then it goes out to all the agents, especially. Some stuff is put out in the trade papers and things like that, but generally most of the work goes through agencies. And so as sort of a hopeful actor, I'd done just some theater stuff, which I really enjoyed. And so someone suggested, sending out pictures and getting an agent. And I got really lucky, had a wonderful agent named David Moss. And he saw this description of a character, and basically she, needed to look like the original Japanese footage and stuff. So there was, that was part of the description, and ideally had some sort of martial arts, experience and things like that for the fight scenes and the plot. So the breakdown came out, and my agent sent me out on the audition. There was a lot of people that looked a lot like me, probably, at the audition. And then the casting directors narrowed it down to 2. And then we came back and went to the studio, and they actually had us there with the director that was going to be directing the episode and that sort of thing. We both actually tried on the suit and had to audition, do our lines and everything. So basically pull off being regular student, and then put on your, evil laugh, evil voice kind of thing, so that you can, transform into Scorpina. So we both did that. We both put on the suit. They took pictures, and then they let us know, like, I don't remember exactly how long, pretty soon after that, that I was going to get to do the part. So that was exciting.
Awesome. Now, when it actually came to filming the episode, well, first of all, you said that they were looking for martial arts abilities. As we all know, David Yost was hired for his gymnastics abilities as well as his acting. I assume that you were hired for the same, because it looks like you did some of your own stunts and martial arts in that episode. Is that correct?
Yes. Just because Scorpina was a face character, so they weren't really able to use a stunt person for that. But keeping that in mind, when we actually did get to the fight scenes, they sort of specifically choreographed me very simple, because they were like a trained stunt team. So I kind of giggle every time I watch the one scene, because it seems like I'm just kind of running around the outside, like interjecting my boomerang sword thing here and there, and then I just run around the other side. And there's like one stunt where we get, like, I think zapped backwards, and we just fell back into mats and stuff like that. So that was kind of the closest I got to doing that. But then in the beginning, they actually had me wear a gi and do like a martial arts demonstration, because I was trying to, woo Adam, who was obviously a big martial arts. I mean, those guys second season were amazing. I think Steve Cardenas and who was Rock. And oh my gosh, why am I drawing a blank here? Adam's real name, Johnny.
Johnny Bosch, yep.
Yes. And yeah, just amazing martial artists. I mean, obviously, well, those two I probably worked most with on that episode. And then, so it was nice, because they actually even helped me come up with stuff, because I had actually done more of sort of the dance and a little bit of gymnastics, and had just taken not as much of the martial arts, certainly, as they had, so at that time, but they were very nice. So I don't know, personally, I think my stuff's a little more dancey looking than your average martial arts thing, but I think it was enough for the episode, just to kind of give a little demonstration there.
And you said that you had actually watched previous episodes, prior to getting hired, and then, of course, after you got hired. Since you were taking on a pre-established character, which had an actress based in another country, and they obviously couldn't bring her over and do all that, were there any type of difficulties or challenges acting based off a pre-existing character who already did have a face?
Right. I think that mainly because her footage had all been in outer space and in costume. So it had sort of allowed me to be, because it was Scorpina playing Sabrina, which they had actually named the character before I even got to the audition. Like, I showed up at the audition, and the character for the student or whatever was actually named Sabrina, which I thought was kind of funny. But then I think because it rhymes with Scorpina, and I don't know if when they're looking through all the pictures and resumes that they got for the part, and they saw my name, I don't know, I have my own little theory that maybe they thought, oh, Sabrina would be a good name for Scorpina. Christian, that's a little squeaky. Oh, sorry. Anyway, so I went ahead and did for her, I was able to just sort of be like, okay, a student, someone who is basically pretending to be a student. So that gave me a lot of leeway as far as for the character of Sabrina. And then, can you still that, honey? Okay. So, and then for the Scorpina part, a lot of that, was just, to me was, she's a good old fashioned evil, villain person, but she had a lot of, charisma. I think she's a real memorable character. It's a great costume. When she morphs into this scorpion creature, it's very scary. So instead of just being like giant, like person with a human face, she becomes an entirely different species. But anyway, I think she did an amazing job. I saw some footage, later on, of like episodes where she was such a prime character, a dominant character, and like there's one in an amusement park, and Kent, one of the fans, had sent me the clip of that so I could watch that, and I thought, oh wow, she has a lot of plot going on. And I don't know if it just didn't work out to put her into more, in the American series or what. So, but I really enjoy watching any of the original footage of her too.
And speaking of the American series, I guess that's where there's a lot of debate, rumor, conjecture on specifically why you didn't return to the role of Scorpina. I'm sure the writers had a number of reasons why the character didn't return, but from your experience, could you please give us the official story of why you never returned as Scorpina?
Well, as far as I know, I was never asked to return. I don't know if it just didn't work in the plot lines where they were going with it. So, it was a little bit different because she couldn't really come down again, and she wasn't going to be able to fool them again. So really, they probably would have just used the footage from before, and then I don't know if they, why they didn't segue. You know what I'm saying? Like there wasn't really an opportunity for her to be like, okay, you might have forgotten about me, but here I am again, trying to fool you as a student. Unless literally Scorpina came back with when there was a whole different set of Rangers. But it's kind of funny because when I originally looked at some of the stuff like the Wikipedia or stuff like that online, it was as if I had told them I wasn't going to come back, and which I thought was kind of funny because especially if anybody knows actors just starting out, there's very little time when you're going to actually say no to a part and stuff, and certainly a really fun part, and like Scorpina. So unless it happened when I was working on something else, my agent never told me. I mean, there's always a possibility, but I really think he would have given me that opportunity to either say yes or no. So to my knowledge, they never asked back. But they only would need me if they were doing another part where she had to come down and interact with them versus just being in outer space.
And so when you did audition for the role, was it like guest character, reoccurring character? Did they kind of specify that to you at the beginning?
At the beginning, it was always just for that one episode. So we filmed, I think it was maybe 2 or 3 days live action, and then we did like 1 day of voiceover, and that was pretty much it.
Now,
so it was.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say. So I think it was all pretty much up and done in a week. Okay.
And now I found this pretty curious. I actually watched the episode last night to go ahead and refresh myself, because it's been, I don't know how many years since I've actually watched it, but thanks to Netflix I did. You weren't actually listed in the credits. Wendy Lee, who at the time was Wendy Swan, was listed as the voiceover character for you, but you were not listed as an actress. Any particular reason for that? Union rules or stuff like that?
But there was no union involved at that time with the Power Rangers. So I'm guessing they just didn't either have it handy or they had her still listed in there for voiceover. There is at least one part, like when she morphs into the evil character, where I I think there is one line that I had said, but she said it just to have that exact evil voice again. And then when she's the big scorpion creature, that's her voice again. All of the part where she's, the student, and even, they had me voice over basically fighting sounds, so that, which the funny thing is when I was doing the little demonstration thing, they didn't say anything about, we're going to voice over sounds. We're going to, so I pretty much did the whole thing with my mouth closed, because I just, I think probably from, for whatever reason, it wasn't exhausting. So there was never any that kind of thing. But they wanted something like that, like fighting sounds. So when we went to voiceover, every time I was facing the camera, then I had to do sounds like, and then when I turned away, then I could do ha, ha, like open mouth sounds, because I had never, on camera had my mouth. So that one kind of cracked me up. But that was pretty much most of my voiceover was just fighting sounds and stuff like that. And then I'm guessing they had her name down from all the other times she'd voiced over for all the outer space stuff. And it's entirely possible, if we're just kind of, coming up with wild ideas, that the reason they never had me back was because they lost my name or something. So I don't know. But, since then, obviously, people have figured it out. And it was actually funny. I had run into Steve Cardenas, and he's like, "You really should come to Power Morphicon." And this was the 2012 one. And so I'm like, yeah, that'd be fun. So that was, everybody had all these questions for me from at that time too. So I think that hopefully at that convention we helped to clear some of that up, because everyone's like, why didn't you come back? Why didn't you finish do any more episodes with her? So I said I definitely would have. I would still do it to this day if for some strange reason they wanted to. So
So if Saban Brands wanted to fly you down to New Zealand to play Scorpina, you would do it?
Oh, sure, I would do it. I would guess they would cast someone at this point new. So, but certainly I would, show up from outer space, have all, me and Goldar's kids with me or something. And, we'd all have tails and horns and stuff like that. But, besides that, we'd be pretty cool family. And
it would, of course, match the Japanese footage, because Scorpina did have a child with Goldar.
Yeah, I saw the picture with the baby. Is so cute.
Well, Ms. Lu, just any other tidbits of information from the episode, working with the other actors, the writers, producers, any kind of interesting story you want to go ahead and share with us?
Oh, gosh. It was all just a lot of fun. I think getting to, be out there in the park and doing the filming at the soundstage, and everybody was really nice. Everyone from the crew, hair and makeup, costuming. It was a fun group, and I know that the people that did, season after season, I'm sure they had a wonderful experience doing it. And it's nice now that they all get to see each other still, like at conventions and stuff. I only go to the Power Morphicon since I have 4 kids, and we actually just opened like a kids gym, like sensory gym here. And so I'm pretty busy, sticking around Southern California. But I certainly love seeing everybody, and I'll be at the 2016 Power Morphicon. That's sort of my that's where I'll be. But yeah, it was really fun. I'm really happy I got to do it. It was probably one of the shortest filming things I ever did, and it's really neat that there's still fans that have questions, first of all, that you even want to be doing an interview to clear something up. So it's truly a phenomenon, I think, the Power Rangers and everything.
All right. Well, Ms. Lu, I want to thank you so very much for joining us here today. So from myself, everyone at the Onyx Tavern, and all of our fans, thank you for answering our questions.
Oh, sure. Anytime.
All right. Well, patrons, thank you for listening to the Tavern today. Let's thank Ms. Lu for joining us. And until next time, this is Rick the Barkeep.